Ashante, welcome to our channel.
Shante, welcome to our channel. I hope you guys have been having a good week so far, even though it's only like the beginning of the week, but I still hope it's good. So today we're just gonna talk about this
Oh, it's kind of midweek
it
though.
was like a cult. Okay, yeah, kind of, but it's still in the beginning in the week
True, true.
because there are
I mean,
four
I
days
still feel
left.
Monday blues a little bit. I'm sorry I interrupted you. You can continue.
No, it's okay. So we're gonna be talking about this cult that was there in Japan by this I forgot his name actually. Prati, do you remember the name? It was a bit hard to remember
I know he
because
had
it's
a
like a
very tough name, so
Japanese
it's
name.
okay. It's Shoko Asahara, because I
Yeah.
kind of forgot how to pronounce it either. To pronounce it too because it's a tough name. So it's Shoko Asahara, and he began some sort of a cult situation back in the 90s and 80s, like late 80s and beginning of the 90s. So what happened was he
And the cult name I
initially
think was something called
Aum something.
Amu
It was like
Shin
Aum something. But
Amu
they
I
just
think
popularly call it as
Shinrikyo or
Aum.
something.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it either, Shinkirio or
Yeah.
something. But it's basically
Yeah.
Aum. That's like they were known as it then. So what happened was he was a pharmacologist, and he had opened a pharmacology of a pharmacy where he sold traditional Chinese medicine, or what he claimed was traditional Chinese medicine. But later on, the government found out that it was a fraud, and he was selling some cheap goods under the title and label of traditional medicine, and it was kind of harmful, and it didn't really help people much, and it didn't do what it actually claimed to do. So after that got shut down, from the research he did on traditional Chinese medicine and everything, he somehow got drawn to the fact that he can use tradition and religion to draw people into whatever he wants to do. And he always wanted to, be this person who like controls people, and he has a following and stuff like that. So he tried to come up with a concept of a religion. He didn't call it a cult, obviously, which um, which was a mix of Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity and Taoism. So this is what he came up with.
Yeah.
So he took concepts from everything, and in Japan, when he started this, in a few years he gained some traction, especially because he started marketing the religion, which he calls it as, through yoga and meditation centers and meditation classes, and he was able to gain some influence and following from that. So he became this cult leader, and people who believed in and knew the theology of such religions kind of got drawn to this because he made a similar theology, adopting from all these religions. So that's how he got people in. But then it turned really dark really quick because he started justifying violence, because he quotes like the Hindu god Shiva, who is the god of destruction. So he, using something like that, he justified violent acts in society, and he claimed a prophecy due to which he gained most of their following, which said the world will end in 2000s. That's when there'll be a nuclear warfare in Japan, which will be an attack from the USA. And he said that if they don't follow him,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and if they don't follow him and they don't get enlightened, is what he again claims, because he went through his meditation classes and yoga classes, he got clients by saying that because he adopts from Buddhism as well, he focuses on enlightenment of individual people. So he said if they don't get enlightened by then, they won't be able to like combat it. So that's how some people got drawn into it. But after people started realizing that it's not good, it was tough for them to get out of it, because he used to use physical abuse and all sorts of abuse to keep them in the cult. And there's a story of this one woman who got out by writing her property off to the organization, which I think is scary actually.
Yeah, but then I think I remember hearing a part where like she didn't I think actually do it in time, so her brother got kidnapped.
Yeah, yeah, that is like another level of crazy and psychopathy. And yeah, and then basically he got arrested in around 2004 because he was charged with many murders, and his group of followers attacked a subway station with some sort of chemical weaponry. Because his background was in pharmacology, he developed a lot of chemical warfare materials which they used on the subway to attack and kill a lot of people, and a lot of other, like 13 people were killed, and many other people were having serious ill effects because of its aftermath.
Injuries, yeah.
Injuries, yeah. And
I think it was
so,
called sarin gas.
yeah,
So like that, I remember that's what they mentioned. It caused like some sort of numbness or something in your body.
yeah, it was some sort of a nerve. It was a gas that targets the nerve, like it attacks your nervous system. So after he did that, after this scandal came to the government's eye, they raided the. Until then, even if people called in and reported something fishy happening in their organization, whenever they get alerted, the police are going to, visit their uh, institution to raid it. They will come up with religious ceremonies and say that nobody can enter it. They won't allow anyone who's an outsider to enter it. So that's how they kept going for a while. But after this incident, the police barged in and raided the entire place and arrested him. And then he was sentenced to death in 2004. And this organization was
Yeah.
scrapped. And that's a good thing. It's a good, at least, like, all those people didn't go unanswered, because this is completely terrible.
Yeah, the gas I think like affected so many people's lives because it causes like seizures and tremors and hypothermia.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously if you get like seizures and stuff, that's not good. It's a very dangerous thing, and even like hypothermia and stuff.
Yeah,
And then it
it's
affects like your central nervous system, and it can lead to like respiratory arrest and stuff like that. So it
mm,
affects your lungs as well. So that's not good. But
and so sinister if you think about it.
based
Like,
on what I like, based on the documentaries and stuff I watched,
mhm.
um, the reason like he was after money so much is because he was poor as a kid. So when you're poor, when he was poor, I think like he wanted money so badly so that he could live a good life and he doesn't have to struggle. And then he was also like partially blind apparently.
He
And
wasn't,
then
but he tried to make money off of blind people at some point of time. That's what they said.
no,
Like,
it
he used to
mentioned
assist
like
blind people, and
I
he used
remember
to
it
ask
saying
them
like
to.
he was actually partially blind.
No, he wasn't, but he assisted blind people to get when he had
Oh yeah,
absolutely
that
no
that I
money.
remember.
Yeah, when he had absolutely no money, he assisted blind people. He was like scribes for them, and then he'll ask them to, buy them food, buy him food and stuff like that. But then I think something bad happened there as well, because he became like too controlling over them somehow, and he made them pay a lot of money to him and stuff like that, and took advantage of the situation basically. But I don't think you can expect anything better from someone who pretty much
Oh
ran
yeah,
a
yeah. Okay,
terrorist
so he was
organization, if you think
partially
about it.
blind. So I remember I was like just searching about him in general on like other platforms, and it said like he lost his eyesight on his left eye due to like this condition he had from birth, I think. And
Oh,
then he also got like partially blind in his right eye at a young age.
oh, okay. I didn't know that. I mean, then shouldn't he have been passionate about the cause and wanted to actually help somebody, instead of like, yeah, this is the route he took.
I think
Yeah,
that's how
so
he like also came up with the scheme to like help blind people get, I don't know, was it food or something, or like direct
no,
them.
he got food
Uh,
because he was very poor at that point. So he began by helping them
yeah,
and
and
asking
then
them to give him food. That somehow became a business for him, where he started coercing them to give him money. So, and then he
yeah,
realized he's able
he
to do this.
basically, I think, with the little amount of eyesight that he had, that's how he thought of the scheme, to target the blind kids and then get money from them.
Yeah,
Because
that
he
is
went to a blind
truly
school, from what
psychopathic.
I remember. He went to a blind school, from what I remember.
Okay. Yeah, but isn't that
I mean,
extremely
obviously, he
psychopathic
went like,
to try and take advantage of,
uh,
people who are struggling? And he literally, you can't even call it a cult when he's done terroristic acts through his followers, like the gas attack. So it's pretty much almost
Yeah.
functioned as a
But
terrorist
luckily
organization.
one, at least like luckily one of the gas attacks failed. It
Yeah,
didn't
and luckily they
succeed.
curbed it before he did many more attacks, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But my God, it's so sad how people can be vulnerable to people like him and they get away with things like this. And because I'm sure a lot of people struggled when they followed him. But it's also sad that they found some still practicing followers around 2014 who were in hiding. And then, yeah, they made stricter
Yeah.
laws after that to, like, punish anyone who was still, doing this, because it wasn't a cult or a religion or anything. It was literally terrorism. So, yeah, and then they caught them and stopped them as well in 2014. But it's scary how 2000, he got killed in 2004, and some followers survived until 2014 in hiding, which is also something kind of
And
scary.
wasn't he hanged like
He hung,
later? Not
no, in 2004.
he
He
died
did.
in 2018, right?
He didn't die in 2018. He was sentenced to death in 2004. On February 27, 2004, he was
Yeah,
sentenced
but
to
when did he
death.
actually die? Like
After
he
he
was
was sentenced to
sentenced to
death.
death.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes forever for like the person who's sentenced to death to actually get his sentence.
Hanging, because until then, after he was sentenced to death, he was gonna be killed. But then he went for two appeals to try and fight it off, like, and go back to his religion.
Uh,
So that's why the delay, because usually they don't have that much of a delay for death sentences. Because, yeah,
so
but
he managed to escape like his death sentence for
he
more
managed to
than 10
stall
years.
it for, yeah, more than 10 years.
Yeah.
He's so cruel, man. Oh my God. So, yeah, that is
So
a story.
what would make someone who's like almost fully blind and poor go to this extent?
I don't know. I don't understand the motivation. That's why I think he ended up becoming so psychopathic that he didn't have a proper cause or purpose, but he probably enjoyed that kind of sadism where he controlled that many people, hurt them, and things like that. And he was able to. I think he wanted to, like, how some people end up having, want the need to vandalize and stuff like that when they become criminals. I think he wanted to make like terrorist attacks and stuff like that, because looks like he's used his background in pharmacology towards that. So I guess he was just psychopathic, and there was there was not any motivation or reason. Like Ted Bundy, for example.
So do you think if he was like rich, yeah, he would still
I don't think it's
do
about
the
rich
same
or poor,
thing?
because Ted Bundy was never, like, poor or anything like that. But he was an absolute psychopath. He murdered around 200 women. He first, like, captured them, tortured them in silence. Like, he just kidnapped them basically, and then he killed them. So it's just because of psychopathic tendencies that they have, more than any need for money or anything. Because I believe even in the pharmacology industry, because of a scam, I think he earned quite a bit of money. So I don't think he was after money at that point. He was after, like, power, and he was probably power crazy and a psychopath. So yeah, it's just crazy how many psychopaths are there these days, because I kind of want to make more series now where we investigate such things and we bring it to light, because I am right now, like, not curious in a good way, but out of fear. Like, I'm scared. I want to look up how many cases are like this in society, because I followed a little bit of the Ted Bundy case, and at that time his last testimony, this dude was, oh my God, yeah, again, this dude is even more crazy, because this Ashahara dude, he didn't even give answers in his testimony to why he was this bad, and he didn't give his followers any explanation for why he scammed them. Apparently, like, one of the followers who got caught and who lost a lot of things in life and who got sentenced to serve in prison, just wanted him to answer one question, like, why did you do this? Apparently, he gave no answers, and that is so gross, because even Ted Bundy, in his last testimony, he gave like explanation saying, like, he went berserk or something. And then he said, there's one slight small warning I want to leave the society with. It's like, I'm just one Ted Bundy, but and I came to limelight, but there are many who are still there in society, but nobody knows about it. And that was scary. I was like, oh my God, how would we make sure we are safe, our
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
safe?
that is true.
So yeah, it's like chilling. It's extremely chilling to watch things like this and know that stuff like this are happening and people are getting influenced. That I don't understand. What do you think? Like, if we hear somebody claiming all these things like he did, like the guy, this Ashahara dude did. I mean, would you do that? Would you end up like trying his classes? Maybe if you're into meditation and yoga and in your centers they promoted this and you weren't aware much about it, you might, innocently follow. Some people might. That I can understand. But
Yeah,
other than
true.
that, what about the rest of the people who like follow his cult? What was their reason for
Maybe
doing?
they didn't know his true motives until like they passed a certain stage.
I mean,
Cause
if they had done a very small, slight background check, they would have found out that he made a huge scam with this pharmacology thing. So,
I mean, at that time, do you think there was actually enough information
in the 80s and
on
90s,
available?
there was no internet. Yeah, there wasn't a lot
Yeah,
of, I mean, there could have been internet, but not like this.
the
Okay,
information wasn't like
accessible.
widely like it wasn't available that much. Yeah.
Yeah,
So even if they wanted to like find out about him, I don't think it would have been that easy compared to now. You can just type someone's name and you get all the details.
yeah.
Or
That's
even
good.
if you're
That's
not
maybe
sure
one
about a
advantage for
certain
our
thing.
generation that a lot of these kind of things can be
Yeah.
curbed a little. Not like too many people could fall for it, but it is scary. I mean, maybe in the next episode we can talk about another such religion cult thing, which is in India by this person called Nityananda. There's a lot of scandal for it. So you guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, let us know. Like leave some likes and comments on
Yes.
the video. We will do the next video about that. And hope you guys had a lovely week thus far, and hope you guys continue to have a lovely week. Take care of one another, be kind to one another, and see you guys in the weekend. Bye.
Bye.